There are a lot of online multiplayer games out there on the gaming market. Just look at the very big titles like Fortnite, Fall Guys, Among Us, and so on. They are all online multiplayer games. But most game developers think it's tough or impossible to make one. Myself too. So I was very scared to make an online multiplayer game. And all the YouTube tutorials about these types of games aren't really understandable. So I needed something from the very first step to make an online multiplayer game. And then Black Phone Prod jumped on my screen where thousands of Google pages of dying inside were. And Black Phone Prod said, "Here's a Udemy course, bro." Okay, not really. They simply released a Udemy course at the moment about this topic. After weeks of waiting because I worked on my project Once Up in a Nightmare, I had no time to make one because I stopped development on Once Up in a Nightmare. Link to the video in the description. I set for me a time limit of 1 week, and then when I actually needed to start, I took my notebook and came up with a game idea. So let me explain what I came up with. You are a little fire creature, and together with your teammate, you must smash with your hammer a lot of tiny shadow creatures. And it's like a bullet hell game, but the player is using melee combat. Then I jumped into Unity, but before I had to set up the Photon engine. What's Photon? It handles all of the server and networking stuff. Luckily I don't have to learn a new coding language for networking. So with Photon, connecting to the server and creating and joining rooms set up, I completely gave up my life. Just kidding, I went to bed. On the next day, I started learning a lot more about online multiplayer game development. So my goal for Monday was making the player, okay, more like the very basic player ever, but I get the movement synchronized and working. And what I didn't knew at the time, that synchronizing will be my favorite word, because you have to sync a lot of things in online multiplayer games. I also started thinking about art, and because my art style is very cartoony, like Noah's, one of the creators of Black Phone Prod, it will look squishy and atmospheric as always. On Tuesday I made the player sprite, the ground and some soft shapes for lighting. I threw the player into Unity and animated it. And hello problems, the animations didn't sync at all. But there was an answer in the course. So I did just this, and yay, it worked. To make everything look nicer, I added the all-in-one shader asset. I used the hand-drawn effect, that way everything moves a bit like hand-drawn by someone, and the game feels really alive. With the all-in-one shader, I also made the hit effect for the player character. Then I started making the first enemy. I drew it and animated it. Now let's hit the bed again. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Now I continued making the enemy, so I copied along the course tutorial for making their enemy. After this I had to spawn the enemies. So let's copy along this really quick. With everything nicely synchronized, I tested it and I thought, wait. Then I added the hammer really quick. That was quite a challenge for me, but it turned out pretty good. And then a health system for the player and enemies. And now it works perfectly and makes sense. On Thursday I went ahead and made 3 more enemies. A little goblin-like, a bat thing, and a spider-inspired creature. Why spider-inspired? I was simply too dumb to remember that a spider has 8 legs. I made a shooting and patrolling behavior, so there are two types of enemy movement, for a bit of variation. After this I started adding polish till Sunday. Here are the things I used to make it feel, look and sound good. As mentioned before, I used the all-in-one shader asset. But another asset or shader was the ripple effect here. It's really easy and flexible to use. For the soundtrack I used again accurate music. It generates soundtracks by AI, and another asset is the ultimate sound effects package. Again paid, but it includes awesome sound effects for every game genre. Then I used Unity's particle system, a great system for making great particles, to create some effects and vibrant lights. And then I just found out how cool trails are and can improve the look of your game. With these things done, I made a few clouds and screen wrapping for them, and also the players screen wrapping. Because I had a bit of time left, I added nicknames, the room name and the player skin customization menu thing. They're not really skins, it's only different fire colors, but it looks cool. I built a Mac and Windows version then and uploaded the game to itch.io. It turned out pretty cool, and now I can definitely say online multiplayer game development looks scary at the first, but isn't very hard. Just one step more of thinking how I have to synchronize this. And with that said, do the usual things, subscribe if you want to see more, like if you like this video, dislike if you don't, join the Discord if you want to hang out with a few game devs and talk about games and game development, and comment if you have any questions, feedback or anything different to say. Okay, see you in the next video, bye.